Saturday the 14th was released in 1981 and directed by Howard R. Cohen. It stars Richard Benjamin, Paula Prentiss, and Jeffrey Tambor. For those who have not seen the movie, I should clarify that although this is a horror movie spoof, the only parallel it has with Friday the 13th is the title. This is more of a haunted house story than anything else. The movie begins with Waldemar and Yolanda, a pair of vampires played by Jeffrey Tambor and Nancy Lee Andrews, who are interested in purchasing a rundown house in Erie, spelled with 2 E's, Pennsylvania. Although the house is currently unoccupied, the realtor tells them there is one possible issue. We then cut to a will reading. Richard Benjamin and Paula Prentiss, who were and still are married in real life, play John and Mary Hyatt, a married couple with 2 children, Debbie and Billy. John's uncle has passed away and has left his house to John and his family. The attorney then warns them about a curse on the house, but dies before he can elaborate. While the vampires watch, the Hyatts arrive at the house, which the realtor calls a fixer-upper. Strange things happen right from the start, but the Hyatts press on. For example, the TV only plays old episodes of The Twilight Zone. A skull is found inside the kitchen cabinet, and they encounter a note from Uncle Henry that reads, "Don't open the book." Meanwhile, Billy has already found and opened the book in question. It begins with the warning, "It gets bad on Friday the 13th, but it gets worse on Saturday the 14th. Billy continues to turn the pages, unleashing a series of monsters in the house. These monsters begin to attack and terrorize several characters in and around the house. The book then goes missing. Mary begins to act strangely, slowly turning into a vampire bride. After a bat attack that parodies Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, John calls an exterminator. The pest control service sends out one of their employees, who happens to be Dr. Van Helsing. He asks about the old book, makes it clear that it must be found, and tells the Hyatts he plans to stay until the curse is broken. That night, the vampires enter through the attic while the monsters trash the kitchen. Billy and Debbie each try to leave the house the next morning, but a storm prevents them from going outside. The Hyatts had scheduled a party for that evening, and Van Helsing insists that it must not be canceled. That evening, the guests arrive, and things get even stranger. I won't spoil it directly, but there is a twist in the third act that leads to a final showdown between good and evil. Keep your eyes open for the following. There are a few subtle and not-so-subtle references to other horror movies, especially the Dracula story.
I never dreamed. Go.
I'm trying to find that book, and all she can think about is that Harker woman in London. That was 100 years ago.
You might also recognize some familiar faces in the cast. Richard Benjamin has appeared in TV and movies since the early 1960s. One notable role was the grandson of Van Helsing in another horror spoof, Love at First Bite. He also directed movies such as My Favorite Year, The Money Pit, My Stepmother is an Alien, and Mermaids. Paula Prentiss appeared with future husband Richard Benjamin on the series He and She, as well as in the movie Catch-22. She can also be found in films such as Where the Boys Are and The Stepford Wives. Jeffrey Tambor's first credited role was on an episode of Kojak, and I first took notice of him when he appeared on Three's Company and its spin-off The Ropers. Between these 2 shows, he appeared as 4 different characters.
Come on, Jack, don't you think you're just overreacting a little bit?
Boom. Boom. Ditto.
Tom?
I almost had it.
He has a long list of credits, including Hill Street Blues, Max Headroom, City Slickers, The Larry Sanders Show, Muppets from Space, Hellboy, and Arrested Development. Severn Darden can be found in 2 of the Planet of the Apes movies, Real Genius, Back to School, and guest starred on The $6 Million Man. Carrie Michelson guest starred on a few TV series, but is best known as the oldest daughter, Katie, on Gimme a Break. Nancy Lee Andrews is known more for being a model and photographer than an actress, and she was once engaged to Ringo Starr. So, is the movie any good? There are a few good jokes here and there, but I wouldn't call it great. However, it's less than an hour and 20 minutes long, so it's not too much of a commitment if you want to give it a watch. I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to see more content like this, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. To access my retro t-shirt store, check the links in the description. Thanks for all your support.
He does have one more thing for you.